Hello everyone, my name is Srivatsan Sampath and I am a student at the Executive MBA program at New England College, and today I'm going to share what I learned in this semester, what my preferred leadership style is, and how it helps solve certain professional challenges. So, the first thing and the main thing that I learned was about the importance of emotional intelligence in any organization. My emotional intelligence score was pretty low to start with. Using the Mind Tools assessment, I had a 35 out of 100, which means there is a lot of scope for improvement. So, by engaging in self awareness tools such as journaling, mindfulness meditation, along with other empathetic tools for awareness and management of others, I was able to increase my score from 35 in the beginning of the semester all the way up to 60. And this was very useful in solving my professional challenges using transactional leadership. Yes, EI is a core component of transactional leadership, even though it sounds like something that only transformational leaders have. Because understanding the requirements of others is critical for meeting those requirements and creating transactions in the relationships with them. So, one example that I can share is in terms of capital allocation. With COVID 19, a lot of suppliers required capital support from us, and as a part of that, we had to get that done very quickly. So, understanding the capital requirement from an emotional intelligence perspective, understanding the supplier's requirement in terms of not just the actual finance but also the communication requirement for them and the continuity requirements for my senior management helped me construct a clear plan, not just in terms of getting the payments out, but also in terms of keeping everyone in the loop, because that was more important than the actual process of everything. So that was one example. Another example is when we worked with a supplier for a while and then they had, they had not proven their capabilities, and it looked like technically they could not take us to the finish line on a product. Basically, we had started development with them, but then it looks like from a quality perspective and from a technical perspective, they were not ready to take us to this finish line, which would mean that we would spend a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of resources with them, and that would mean that our project would get delayed, and it looked like our project would not launch at any case. So the prudent thing to do from a management perspective was to cancel that project so that the resources in my company were freed to do another project. But this was a very difficult thing to communicate to the supplier. So what we had to do was we had to from an EI perspective, I had to understand what the supplier's requirements was. Obviously, the supplier had a requirement with regards to business because they had also invested along with us in this project. At the same time, they also have long-term requirements in terms of always being the first bidder whenever we have a project, working with us and collaborating with us with other projects. So understanding this long-term requirement was a key component in communicating to them that they were not able to take us to the finish line. Therefore, us saying that the project is cancelled was our way of saving them and relieving their resources so that they can work with us and collaborate with us on other simpler projects that was in their wheelhouse. So this was another way where emotional intelligence and transactional leadership, just in terms of understanding what transactions are there in the sustained long-term vision, was helpful, and it helped me solve this particular challenge. The third challenge was in terms of working with a supplier who was lagging in a few areas but was willing to work with in other areas. So again, for this we did not have to stall the project because we could find an answer and we could find a solution. The only thing is we had to spend our own resources in filling the gaps where the supplier could not do. So for this, I had to reach out to several agencies within Medtronic and then see what their cost benefit was, what transactions they needed. If they want to support us within in my company, if they want to support us, that means that they need to be assigned as a resource to the project, which is cost, and they also need to be recognized for their time in terms of appreciation, not just compensation. So understanding these requirements within this framework was useful, and using that I was able to I was able to convince them to be on board in our project, and thereby we were able to get them to support us in the project. So in these three ways, this leadership form of transactional leadership was critically helpful in solving several professional challenges. Thanks for letting me share.